Tomorrow night might be the biggest night in the history of the NBA Summer League, largely because of that man, Zion Williamson, the #1 pick in the NBA draft, the most anticipated NBA rookie in a very long time. Will play actually against his former college teammate, R.J. Barrett. The Knicks will play the Pelicans, and you'll get a chance to see it tomorrow night on ESPN. And that should be very interesting. But this video of him dunking in a practice, which should be practically nothing, rolled through our show yesterday in the afternoon, and I could not help but be struck. And I have brought this up repeatedly during the course of the year. And I feel like I need to preface these comments every time by saying, I hope Zion is absolutely everything that people, are imagining he might be, because he is dynamic and fun and seems like a terrific kid. So I want nothing in the world more than for him to be great. But am I the only one who thinks, as you watch him, that he looks like a guy who is just too big to play the way he plays and remain healthy for a long time?
He's overweight, but I think that's a byproduct of what's happened over the past month and a half, 2 months. So let me give you context to this. You lose the NCAA tournament. You want to take time off for basketball for a second. You just want to be a kid, right? You want to be 17, 18 years old. You start getting a little bit ready for the draft, picking your agent, that process. But that's a game changer. Now you're going into business. Find an agent. He only had like one workout, pretty much. He knew where he was going, right? So he's not really working out hard for a lot of different teams. You get drafted, you have your party, you fly to New Orleans, you sit with the team, and the next thing you know, you're right in Summer League, Greeny. Like, it's been like 2 months where he hasn't been working out for 2 months. He's been coming into his own as far as a superstar in the NBA. And I think right now what you're seeing is a guy who probably weighs around 300 pounds, but I think he's gonna continuously work on that because the kid's more competitive than anybody I've seen in a long time.
Yes, but it is going to be an issue when you're the second heaviest player in the NBA. When you got drafted. And the one thing that makes you special, the one thing that really makes you unique is your explosiveness, your athleticism, your quickness. Now, he is a freak level athlete. And what we saw him do last year in college, we've never seen a player be able to do. And that's why he captivated us. That's why Duke games rated the way they rated. That's why there are people that are 90 years old that do not watch college basketball that know the name of Zion. And when you look at going from 30 games to 82 games, then I think there are reasons to say, okay, long term, will this impact him?
We talked about this before. I think there's a chance that he's injury prone. We did a video where we showed how many times he goes up for these electrifying dunks and he comes down on one leg or the other. Yeah. 285 pounds, like you're always going to be prone to that. But still, the talent speaks for itself.
No question.
And if he has a nutritionist, if he takes it seriously, I think he can come down in a way. I think he is overweight as of right now.
What would be his ideal playing weight for you?
270.
Yeah. So that means if you think he's at 300 right now, that he's got to lose 30 pounds.
I think it's feasible.
I think he'll be fine losing the weight, though. And he's clearly a hard worker when you look at the amount of skill he has. It's not like he's just this explosive guy, right? He can bring the ball up the court. He can do a lot of stuff. But to me, I've always looked at him as a guy who's either going to be like a Russell Westbrook or a LeBron James, this kind of indestructible guy, or a guy like Derrick Rose, who was this incredibly explosive guy, but whose body just couldn't hold up to it, right? And it's kind of impossible to know what the outcome is on either side, because he is just so, to your point, Green, he's so incredibly explosive that you just don't know if anybody can handle that kind of strength.
He's a new position in the NBA that we haven't really seen. He's a point center. Yeah. He's a point center. And we see Draymond do it. We're going to see Zion do it. And I'll tell you else who's going to be a point center down the line, Ben Simmons. I feel like Ben Simmons could be like that point
Giannis
forward,
is
point
like
center.
that too.
Giannis is like that too. I think you're going to see these guys' teams transition of taking the ball out of their hands all the time and let them really be that mismatch for a lot of different teams.
But what those guys, certainly what a guy like Draymond doesn't have is, and you used exactly the right word, Sean, is that explosiveness, that dynamic thing where he's leaping constantly. And that is so much, and you would be able to explain this better than I, what that does to your knees and all that sort of thing. And a guy at his weight and all of that, at some point, I just wonder if that is sustainable. I hope that it is. I hope that whatever it is, he's a freak of nature to this point, and I hope that that just continues. But it would make me very concerned. And that video was the first thing that jumped into my mind when I saw it.
And that was a point by many GMs going into this thing whenever there was a discussion about Zion Williamson. He attacks the rim with such reckless abandonment because of his athletic ability. You get to the next level, are you going to challenge Rudy Gobert? He is, but that puts you in that position.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.